Understand that. Embrace that in the core of your heart. That is the lens through which you will not spill any light. It is a lens of devotion, the relationship with the God, not as a king, not as a master, not as a child, not as a soldier or a nobleman, but as a lover. As a lover. There are no extra pieces of God. There are no extra pieces. All are needed. All are deserving. But we control the narrative of creation. It's a love story, and we can make it very dicey. We could have the princess getting captured and having the prince get up, be gallant and brave and overcome the great threat and conquest. We can make the climax very, very trepidatious. We can do that, or we can just make this very simple, very light, very harmonic narrative. We have the choice here, because as we expand with the clear lens within, and the creative vitality flows through us from on high, and we share it, extend it unconditionally through our hearts and all we do, as we do that, that song, it picks up pace, it's catchy, it has a cadence, and everyone begins to awaken to its core. Everyone. And everything that's disagreeable becomes agreeable. And everything kind of creates this flowing momentum. It's like a little snowball on the top of a cliff, and it starts to roll. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We can navigate this world with villains and despots. And we can say, oh, we so need these villains and despots so much because we're so busy ignoring all the beautiful souls. We're ignoring them. The only way we're going to learn how to love each other unconditionally, the only way we'll learn it is by seeing the despot and the wicked, to see them the way they treat, and the apathy and brazenness, to see it and witness it and say, who wants to be this way? It's disgusting. It spoils everything. It's corrosive. It's horrible. And we all have to go clean our houses. Each one of us, we have to clean our houses and become more loving and civil. We all have this ability. We can all march this way. It's the way we keep choosing. But we don't have to. That's called Etz Hadat Tovera. It's called learning what is by knowing what is not. We don't have to go down that pathway. For generations and generations, spiritual seekers have been dedicating themselves to the tree of life, which means the path of greater intimacy with the divine. To be able to recognize the grace in all things. And as you do so, you unshackle each and every soul. Each and every one, every creative chord, each one is awakened to a degree so that they do not feel ashamed, they do not feel abandoned, they do not feel alone, they do not feel they have to fend for themselves, they do not feel a dog-eat-dog world, and they stand up and they take the mandate and they push it forward. And the world's narrative begins to exhaust the apathy and run into a time of communion, a time of consolation and healing, a time of communion for greater community and harmonization. We control the narrative of the music. The song is always the same. You can have huge cymbals, crashing cymbals, violent rhythms, big trumpets. You can do it. It's all up to you if you want, if that's what you need. to get through your day, you can do it. But it's always going to be the song, the same song. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be a song, an ecstatic song, a harmonic song. You can simmer down the beat and allow the higher range, more delicate instruments to vocalize. And you'll see it in your day, you'll see it in your life, you'll see it in your inner circle, in your outer circle, in your inner world and in the greater world. You'll see it. You'll see the same lessons coming to visit you again and again, and each time you embrace them a little bit more nurturing, a little bit more coaxing the birthing innocence, grooming it, embracing it, allowing the child to mature to realization, to allow new possibility and new wonder in your circle. It's true. Each of you has this ability. I want you to understand something. I want you to understand the tree of life is after the initial 3, Chachma Bina Dat, the 10 Sfirot. If you go to the next 7, the tree, you have grace to the right. You have dominion to the left. And you have harmony in between. And there's a partzuf, there's like a filter, a mirror. And below grace is netzach, which is endurance. And below dominion is hod, which is gratitude. And parallel to harmony is yesod, which is foundation. Alignment. People say foundation, but it's the realignment of the foundation. And you all understand, if you see this, if you understand the way a mirror works, a mirror always shows you the opposite. What you think is your right side is really your left side. What you think your left side is really the right side. Everything gets turned around, gets flipped. And when the higher 3 spheres hit that mirror, they all get flipped to the other side, each of them. So grace on the right becomes gratitude on the left. And dominion on the left becomes endurance on the right. You understand this secret, you understand something very deep. Very, very deep. You understand that we are so far removed from our soul's capacity because we are terribly codependent. Terribly codependent, not on acknowledging what we are, but on deducing what we are by comparing it to somebody else. We are so captivated in this narrative of competition that we begin to exude a complete dereliction of our duty to recognize the creative consequence, the creative consonance of all that you are. And there is no other like you. There is nothing that expresses the vitality like you, and you have a unique attribute and a unique skill that flows through your soul's creative vitality. It flows through you, and your job is to be you in grace. That's all your job is. It's that simple. Be you in grace, so other people can be them in grace. And you can celebrate and say, oh, I see you. I see myself through you. By you being yourself, I can suddenly see myself. That's all they have to do. But you see what happens is we are so bombarded in the culture on competition and shame that we can't climb up that ladder. We are stuck in gratitude and endurance, each of us to the degree, one to the other, endurance or gratitude. The endurance people, they just don't think, they don't feel, and they have no renewal, and they're so tired. So tired. It's the longest day. The longest day. And the gratitude people are so happy to have gratitude for something that they got over, for the problem. They're so happy to have gratitude. I'm not like that guy. I don't have that disaster. Look at that wreck. Thank God that's not me. I feel so good about myself. This is the gratitude people. They're really excited. They're excited to point out who they are by knowing exactly what they are not. And the more they do so, the more they evoke the narrative. I need there to be everything that's disagreeable so that I can have gratitude. I'm so grateful that I'm not like them. This is a disaster. It's such a disaster. Just spinning in circles. Are you not dizzy yet? We're not dizzy from it. Grow up. Stop. Just stop it. Don't you understand? You are eternal. You are different and unique. There's nothing like you. There can't be anything like you. There's nothing to compare. How do you compare an infinite variable with another? Right? Like infinity plus 1 minus infinity. Still infinity. They're all infinity. You can't compare. The language of this world is so distorting your perception of your soul's capacity. Understand the first thing you need to lose is your lust to compare. You have to lose it. And when you lose your lust to compare, you will not be enduring anymore. You will be in the consonance of an eternal now. It's an eternal instant that recreates. And it's an instant that's full of wonder and euphoria because each instant is the first time. And you have never seen this episode before. When you lose your lust to compare, you don't have gratitude at all. Because it was grace all along. It was always grace. There was grace in all of it. There was grace in what you thought was disagreeable, and there was grace in what you figured out was realized grace. I mean, it was all grace all along. And we don't need the codependency on there being a boogeyman across the street in order to feel secure about yourself and what you are and your own boundaries. Because your boundaries just keep you in exactly what you are in your codependency. And it's time to break those walls down and connect to the greater aspects of your soul. Because within your soul there's a range of everything that you agree and everything that you disagree to. Because it's all God. All of it. And it's all in the birthright of your soul. Every single aspect of it. And so the hope of emergence is not a hope. It is a realization and it's a dedication to recognizing with clarity of innocence and wonder of each instant, without a lust to compare, to embrace the grace, to embrace the chesed as it is, because it is all chesed. It is all God's grace, all of it. And when you are in that space, it is not a heavy space, and you do not have a heavy heart. But it is a light, weightless space, a boundless space that is a more befitting receptacle of the light of your soul. To not spill it to the other side, measure for measure, in more and more baggage and drama, but to rather harmonize with the great comb of love, to comb out all the knots of creation. You transcend the mirror. You stop having everything backwards. And you dance with grace. And grace will coax you closer to embrace dominion of all you are. And you'll find harmony right in between with everything. as it is in the weightless space. I'm going to explain to you how this works. When you have this vitality, the creative vitality, God's Shefa flowing through you, flowing through your crown, flowing through your heart, and you're in a weightless space. You're in a weightless space. Do not constrict the light, how the light has to be. But it flows. It flows exactly where it's needed. There is no torque. There is no boomerang effect of the lesson having to be repeated again and again. Just an awakening. Just an awakening, a stirring, a stirring. Dear one, it's time to awake. It's time to be. It's time to be all you can. This is the truth of it. Because you see, when an individual has a strong emotion of gratitude, say, wow, Visiyata Dishmaya, I saw the glory of God today. Serendipity. Wow! I'm exhilarated! You think you're doing yourself a favor. You're not doing yourself a favor. Your heart starts pounding and you're bursting with so much emotion. Amazing, amazing. Before it was dark and now it is light and I'm so happy. I'm so exhilarated. It's bipolar. It's creatively bipolar. And if you don't realize this, you're going to trip over it exactly the same way every other spiritual aspirant in the past never reached mastery, tripped over it. What happens? You have so much, oh wow, God, I see it. It's beautiful. God did glory. It was amazing. What's wrong? What's wrong? What about the rest of God? What about the rest of God? What about the parts of the divine you don't see? What about the parts of your soul you don't see? You don't recognize? What about the latent potential? The unrealized? What about them? What about the divine feminine? What about the Shechinah? What about the aspect that you're not recognizing, that was there all along, that you did not give such exuberance and glory, that you didn't have such euphoria and revelation with? What about them? How do they feel? They're ignored again. What is it about the current of spite that gets released in that? As you shut the cage, as you cut yourself in half, and you say, this part of God is worthy and this part of God is not for me. This dualism. What do you think it brings? Do you not recognize that you exude the power of your soul in this way? You just draw more impediments, more darkness. Do you not realize it? You necessitate it. I choose to create with only gratitude. And I choose to have gratitude only for that which I recognize. And you just harden with callousness all the wall between the anger, the rage, the distance, the disconnect between all that is beyond you. And in the disconnect, darkness takes root. Individuals are not able to realize and not able to see, and they begin to act primitively for conquest, of dog eat dog. The world learns from dissolution, and you get saved again. Amazing. Oh, such gratitude. And the record spins again. But then you have the other times. Well, forget gratitude. It's not about gratitude. You gotta buckle up, soldier. You just gotta endure. You gotta outlast it. Just outlast it and buckle up. You begin to get tough hands and tough callousness and a tough heart, and you suddenly don't recognize what you're stepping on, and the disaffection that's released in your footsteps, in your path, what you're creating, and how you're codependent on there being persecution, you're codependent on there being an oppressor, and you're codependent on the victimhood, and you're codependent on it, and you take your soul's vitality, and neither you extend it time and again. Because again, you spit in the face of the Shechinah, the divine feminine. You cut yourself off from the unrealized aspects of your soul. You say, I don't have a job for tikkun. I'm not responsible for that. I'm in this for myself. I got to outlast. It's got nothing to do with the greater picture. Okay, I'll do tikkun, but only for my soul. Only for my soul. And you question why the world, time and again, you have to run like a refugee and endure time and again. Why? Is it not that you chose to create this way? It is not that the Creator sanctioned within you the vitality to choose and to recreate the world in each instant in collaboration with the divine, and this is what you chose. This is the narrative you chose. This is how you chose to play your song. But if you polish the lens to a weightless space, and you lose your lust to compare. Wow. That's called a spiritual diet. You think those protein diets have some secret? You think that's a secret? You just try. Lose your lust to compare. Just lose it. Just be. Be present. Be present with all of you. Just be present. Say, hush. It's okay. Lightness of being. That's where the boundlessness kicks in. That's where the vitality, the shefa, that flows through your soul's vitality, it's no longer bottlenecked. It begins to expand and expand and expand. You know, they used to call the great spiritual masters, they used to call them Rabba. That's what it's called. It was a Hebraic term, the Semitic language of Aramaic. And Rabba. Today they call it Rav in Hebrew. What does it mean? It means more. It means more. Some of these guys, they would starve themselves really tight. I mean, really, they wouldn't eat that much. They weren't so big. Some of them, they still call them more. They were talking about the soul, how big their soul was, how expansive their soul was, how much shefa was able to be funneled through their soul on its way through the rest of creation. That's what they were talking about. That's what Rav meant. Oh yeah, you try this lightness. You try it. Try it on. Wear it. It's customizable. Boundlessness is customizable. Fits everyone. All you gotta do is unzip the drama and the baggage. You got right into it. And when you're into it, oh, you're gonna be tested. Wow, you're gonna be tested. You're gonna get the baggage from this lifetime and that aspect of soul and that aspect of soul. And you say, oh, wow, oh, I had such a spiritual emergence, such a high. Why do I feel this? Why am I feeling this heaviness? Oh, this ugliness. Where is it coming from? Just be present. Just be present. Whisper. The aspects of your soul you don't understand, just say, hush. It's okay. It's all grace. It's okay. I'm here. You're not alone. I'm here. I'm here. We're all here. Not alone. Not alone. Not alone. the vitality begins to pick up speed. Impediments begin to fall apart. And vitality begins to flow. And then you have more responsibility and greater creative vitality flowing through you on its way to the rest of creation. Love thy brother as you love thyself. That's the secret to peace on earth. The word for peace in the ancient lexicon of Semitic language, in the Ivri, Ever. In the Bible, Ever is one of the children of Noah. Ivri, Hebraic. The word for peace is shalom, 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 shalom. The word shalom is the same word, same root word as shalem, to be whole, to be whole. You have a lot of people want to be holy men. Unfortunately, in today's world, not many of them want to be holy men. You have to be whole. You have to serve the whole. You have to have reverence, dedication for all aspects of the whole. All the known, all the unknown. All of it.